Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. How are we doing today, guys?
Jenny, I'm doing good. We got a topic off the top of this thing. Ooh, I've been waiting 2 days, 3 days for this topic, and they finally got it. Really? It's in my wheelhouse, Jenny. It's in my wheelhouse.
You know, Jenny, it's funny. Every morning I start this show by saying to Shannon Sharp, may I have this dance? And then I last dance on the grave that now holds his LeBron is the GOAT argument. R.I.P.
This is last dance.
LeBron.
This the last dance part 2. Because after this, it's over. It'll be no more.
The Last Dance Part 2. All right, here's the thing. Shannon, you had to defend your guy a lot yesterday. I'm going to give you a few more ways to do that today. I'd like to continue talking MJ versus LeBron in terms of leadership, because according to Lakers guard Quinn Cook, LeBron's leadership style is very different than what we've seen from Michael Jordan's in The Last Dance. Cook said that LeBron is the, quote, class clown on the team and likes to keep things light. He also said LeBron would still be the first one to get on teammates after losses and stay locked in. So, Shannon, in your opinion, who is the better leader, Michael Jordan or LeBron?
You know, Jenny, this is something that's very hard to quantify, because normally what people say is that anytime you win, you're the best. Whoever the top dog is, they're the better leader than the top dog of the team that lost. But Michael Jordan said something very interesting at the end of segment 7. He says, if you have a problem with my leadership style, it's probably because you never won anything. But I have something here, Skip, you can't see it. It's about 22 inches tall, and it weighs about 7 pounds. And they normally hand these out to the winning team at the end of the season. Only the last team standing. Now, I have 3 of those. I also have something else. You can't see that, but the people at home, they can see it. So, in other words, I feel like I'm very qualified to chime in on this because I have won something. And so, for me, LeBron James' style would work better for me than Michael Jordan's style, because I am an alpha male. And Michael's style, Michael being an alpha, I'm being an alpha, we're going to butt heads. Now, Charles Barkley said something interesting, I think it was a day ago or 2 days ago on the Dan Patrick. He said Mike knew what he was doing, picking on Scotty Burrell and the smallest guy on the roster, Steve Kerr. Now, everybody gonna say that's why Charles never won anything. But they never said a word when Charles said Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. They didn't say, well, Charles didn't win anything. How does he know what he's talking about? You chimed in, oh, yeah, look at Charles. And we all know Charles was a great player. Udonis Haslem also said, you know, Mike the greatest, but he called me a B or the H. Me and him going to have to square up. And that's what most alpha males are going to do. Skip, LeBron's style would work best for me. And another thing, Skip, we got to be careful. And I want people at home, I want you to understand, you got to be careful. Because someone is in a position of authority, because someone is better at something than you, they have earned the right to talk to you less than. This is the way I operate, Skip. I call it like I see it. Fair is fair, wrong is wrong. When I was at Savannah State, Skip, I was the captain for 3 years. And anytime there was something that went on with the team, Coach Davis, who's the head coach, Brick McNeil, the offensive coordinator, and Joe Crosby, they didn't go to the coach's office. Guess where they came to discuss it? They came to Shannon Sharp's room. You know why? Because everybody knew they was going to get a fair chance. Everybody knew I was going to call it right down the middle. I'm the best player, but I'm going to treat you the same, whether you're the second or third best player or you're the 28th, 29th best player. Fair is fair, right is right, wrong is wrong. And that's the way I was, Skip. Michael Jordan did this to people, Skip, like I said. For me, where was Michael Jordan the first 20 years of my life when I was having to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, when I was having to feed chickens, slop hogs, when I was going out into the woods with no running water, no indoor plumbing? Where was Michael Jordan to motivate me then? He was nowhere around. When my grandmother was sending me $5 a month at Savannah State, where was Michael Jordan to motivate me then? Now I'm making to the ultimate. I get to the dance, and now you're going to tell me how I need to dance and what songs I need to dance to. Nah, bruh. I'm going to do my part, you do your part. But when you start disrespecting me, Skip, like I said, I love Michael. The fighting is not about because I dislike him. Fighting is because to gain my respect. So for me, LeBron James' style would have worked best for me because I'm an alpha and me and Mike's going to butt heads. Because if you think you can call me out of my name, That's not going to happen. I won't let you say anything to me Mary Porter didn't say to me. And she never called me those names. So Michael and I would have had a problem.
Shannon.
Just in case people at home, y'all forgot. That Lombardi. That old Lombardi. That's all it is. Give old Lombardi.
I love you, man. But this documentary, The Last Dance, is not about Shannon Sharpe. You were not on the 1998 Bulls. You keep trying to make this whole story about Shannon Sharpe. And it's about the greatest player who ever played any team sport, Michael Jeffrey Jordan. It's about what he did with his team in his town in his day and era that he owned. And again, you try to project yourself onto his team. You weren't on his team. It just doesn't matter. I get you and I get him. I know you both. And I'll give you this. You two would have butted heads. You would have clashed. Although it's highly possible he wouldn't have picked on you because you did not need picking on. You were self-motivated. You showed up every day to give it win at all costs effort and attitude that he preached and drove into the 98 Bulls. You already had it in you. You were born with it. You're still self-motivated in your workouts. So again, you might have blended in. Maybe there had been some point where he thought you could have given a little more, but he treated each player very, very differently. And to answer Jenny's first question, because I don't want to stray too far from the topic here, I do give LeBron some credit for his leadership capabilities, and I'll mention those in just a moment. But I'm sorry, when you force me to put LeBron as a leader in the same sentence with Michael Jordan as a leader, it's blasphemy. It's heresy. It's wrong. It's not fair. Michael Jordan was far, far beyond LeBron as a leader because, to me, Michael Jordan was the greatest leader / motivator we've ever seen in sports. And we're going to talk later in this show about a guy you played with, Ray Lewis, one of the great leaders ever. Shannon Sharpe was one of the great leaders ever. Tom Brady, one of the great leaders ever. But I can't put any of you three in the same pantheon with Michael Jordan because he was a force of nature as a leader. He was more of the coach of that team than Phil Jackson was the coach because Michael was the one who pushed all the buttons. And I want to drive this point home. Remember LeBron's infamous quote back in February of 2016? That night they had lost at New Orleans. He was still with the Cavaliers, obviously. And he complained to the media after the game, we, the Cavaliers, we're top-heavy as bleep. You said that, LeBron? You just trashed the 9 guys below Kyrie and Kevin Love, and you at the top. It's the big three, and then you're top-heavy as bleep? Well, trust me on this. The 98 Bulls were top-heavy as bleep. Scottie Pippen was not an alpha. He was a follower, not a leader. Michael Jordan taught Scottie Pippen how to win, just the way I believe that Dwayne Wade helped teach LeBron how to win his first year in Miami. And then we look at Dennis Rodman. He was a psycho. He was a nutcase. Michael had to ride herd on Dennis Rodman constantly to keep him between the lines. And Dennis was afraid of Michael Jordan, and he did ultimately what Michael said to do, and that's how they won championships together. And Tony Kukoc was a softer Euro kind of a player and a sixth man. He's talented, but he needed Michael to show him the ropes, to drive home to him that you've got to be tougher. Michael toughened up Tony Kukoc in practice. And dare I start down the rest of the roster? We've been talking about Scotty Burrell and Stevie Kerr and Bill Winnington and Luke Longley and Joe Klein and Randy Brown and Judd Buechler. I just named the rest of the roster. Shannon, they're just guys. It's a whole bunch of guys. Michael took that roster and said, bam, I'm going to show you blah, 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 blah. I can't say the words. How to do this. We're going to win at any cost. And if I have to ridicule you, if I have to shame you, if I have to make it hell for you, I will do it. I will pick on your weakness and I will make it a strength. And you will contribute for me when it is time to contribute. And they all did. Everybody I just named all had little, big